Dominic Loyen is preparing for takeoff. The 46-year-old base jumper leaps from bridges, buildings, and cliffs. In a moment, he and a friend from Germany will dive into this valley in the Swiss Alps. We'll go through here, he says, and then rappel down there. Even before you get to the jumping part, this is not a sport for the faint-hearted. From here, it's a 700-meter drop. Lauterbrunnen Valley's height and craggy cliffs make it the place for base jump enthusiasts from around the world. His friend asks if he's ready. Seconds before we jump, we count down from 3, he says. That way we can synchronize our jumps, and by that point your brain is already in jump mode.
Ready? Yep. 3, 2, 1, go.
With their wingsuits, they can speed along the cliffs. A camera strapped to the helmet captures the action. The first second of free fall is the ultimate feeling of flight, he says. But many have paid for that supreme adrenaline kick with their lives. Base jumpers are killed in Lauterbrunnen Valley every year. Some of its residents now call this place Death Valley. This time everything goes smoothly, apart from landing on someone's front lawn. Now we're really psyched, he says. He asks his friend if everything is okay. It was a good jump. After they pack up, the two will go for a beer.
Okay, ciao.
It's only later that Dominic Loyen tells us that his parachute became tangled during the jump. It would have hurtled uncontrollably towards the cliff if he hadn't reacted in time and untangled the cord. The incident was captured on camera, but he doesn't want to release the images to the public. On the edge of the cliff, the base jumpers have set up a memorial for those killed. Almost all of them were under 30. But the atmosphere is relaxed. Many jumpers spend their whole summer here. Around 1,000 extreme sports fanatics come to Lauterbrunnen every year. The cliffs are within easy reach. In addition, base jumping is legal here.
The clouds are quite funky actually as well, like that. Super weird.
Dominic Loyen is packing his parachute, ready for the next jump. For people who do it, it's a way of life, he says. They travel to the best jump points in Italy, Norway, or here in the summer. They live in their camper vans or something they built themselves. It's a way of life, at least in the summer months.
Für die ist das ein Lebensstil, zumindest in den Sommermonaten.
Dominic has organized his whole life around his passion. The German national moved to Lauterbrunnen 6 years ago so he could jump as often as possible. He gives base jumping lessons and works in a sports store to finance his hobby. A few meters away, farmer Matthias Voits herds his cows back to the barn for milking. It would be a relaxing trip, he says, if it weren't for all the tourists. It used to be just the skiers who came in winter. Now the tourist season lasts all year round. He says the first group drives too fast and the other too slowly, and there's not much in between. You never know when a cow is suddenly about to change direction. You can't drive past too quickly, and you can't stand still either. Paragliders, base jumpers, rock climbers, and tourists who simply love Switzerland flock to the valley every summer. They climb the cliffs, race bikes down the mountains, and jump off rocks and out of helicopters with all manner of flying tools. Small wonder, then, that the Swiss Mountain Rescue Squad responds to more calls here than anywhere else. Matthias Voits has little sympathy for the new trend in extreme sports. He'd like to see base jumping banned altogether.
The
main problem is these new sports, he says. Mountain bike paths run straight through the forest. The base jumpers fly too close to the cliffs and disturb the wild goats. That's a pity. It's all quite upsetting. Ordinary walking is too boring for these people. It's always got to be something crazy. The problem is, the animals can't get used to all this. It's too much, too fast. That's all he wants to say about it. Criticism of the extreme sport tourists isn't welcome here in the valley, because they bring in money for the local economy. So Matthias Voits would rather talk about his cows. I grew up with the animals, he says. They're like family. The 36-year-old can't imagine selling the family business for a job in tourism. I love working as a farmer, he says. I love being close to nature and close to the animals. It's hard work, but the animals give so much back. It's a good profession.
Now I can clean this side up.
In the meantime, Dominik Loyen is showing his pupil, Tassos Polikarpou, how to properly store a base jumping parachute.
Base
relies on meticulous preparation for the jump, he explains. First and foremost, that means packing everything the right way.
Now I can raise up the parachute.
He says the risks of base jumping can be minimized with proper training and preparation. He goes into minute detail with base jumping beginners. Every cord, every crease is important when folding the parachute. But even the teacher has had his share of dangerous situations.
Ich hatte eine Notauslösung vom Schirm.
He says he once had to pull on the emergency cord. But by the time the parachute opened, he'd practically hit the ground. Luckily, he says, nothing happened. What do you mean nothing happened if you practically landed without a parachute? He says he landed in snow at a 45-degree angle, like a ski jumper.
45 Grad Winkel gelandet. Im Prinzip wie ein Skispringer.
But he's almost never considered giving up, except maybe once.
Ja, es gab schon ein paar Gedanken, eine Pause einzulegen.
I thought about taking a break, he says, or giving it up altogether, when a good friend of mine was killed.
Ein guter Freund von mir tödlich verunfallt.
But then you come to terms with it.
Aber das verarbeitet man dann und irgendwie
And somehow you have to do what gives you pleasure.
Einem Spaß macht und
you think about it, and then you come to the conclusion that you have to keep on going, and you swear you'll never make the same mistakes.
Und schwört dann nicht die gleichen Fehler zu machen. Okay.
After the packing lesson, it's off to the exit, what they call the jump spot.
Come on, Frank. Let's go.
In the butcher's shop, Edith Gertsch has adjusted to the new clientele. She offers a range of sausages as the ideal base jumper snack. We live side by side with the tourists, she says. You get used to having all these crazy, strange and friendly people around. And you get to know the whole world that way. You don't have to go anywhere because they all come to you. But to jump from the cliffs herself, that's something she can't imagine doing. Not really, she says. You're taking your life into your hands.
Das ist einfach so fast für mich. Spiel mit dem Leben für mich. Ja. Hallo.
Right there with count to 10.
Tassos Polikarpou and his jump instructor are once again practicing the choreography of the descent. The 37-year-old already has 20 base jumps under his belt, but that makes him just a beginner.
5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, 10,000. Arch. Pull. And symmetric on the pull, huh? All good? All good.
Once he's on the cliff, there's no going back.
Good job. Three, two, one, go! 1,000.
A leap of faith and hopes for a smooth landing.